Evan's boots crunched against the soft alien soil as he walked through the dense jungle of Lyrian 7. The planet's air was thick and sweet, carrying the scent of strange flowers that glowed faintly in the dim sunlight. Towering trees with leaves like glass stretched toward the sky and vines twisted around every trunk. Evan had been trained for hostile environments, but Lyrian 7 was something else entirely. It was beautiful, alien, and alive. He paused for a moment, scanning the horizon with his handheld scanner. The device beeped faintly, picking up unusual signals from deep within the jungle. Strange pulses, not natural, not mechanical, but something in between. Evan, a voice crackled in his earpiece. It was Commander Hayes, his mission leader, back on the orbiting ship. We're picking up readings from the northern ridge. Any signs of life? Negative, Evan replied, adjusting his grip on the scanner. Just energy fluctuations. Something big, but I can't tell what. He didn't notice the movement. Behind him, a flicker of shadow darted between the trees. He spun around, but nothing was there. The scanner beeped louder now. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath his feet. Evan's heart raced. From the trees emerged a group of alien scouts, 6 of them, tall and thin, with translucent skin and elongated limbs. Their eyes were black pools, reflecting the faint light of the jungle. They didn't speak, but their movements were precise. Coordinated, Evan's training kicked in. He reached for his sidearm, but one of the scouts moved faster than he expected. A whip of energy shot from its hand, slicing the air dangerously close to him. He rolled to the side, heart pounding. "Evan, retreat!" Hayes's voice shouted in his ear. "Get out of there!" But before Evan could move, the ground beneath him gave way. He tumbled down a steep incline, landing hard in a hidden valley. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he pushed himself up. The alien scouts had disappeared. For now. Evan looked around. The valley was strange, almost like a garden, with crystalline structures rising from the ground and streams of glowing liquid weaving through the rocks. And in the center of it all, a palace. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls were iridescent, shimmering with colors that seemed to shift when he moved. Towers spiraled toward the sky, delicate yet strong. The entire structure seemed alive, breathing with the planet itself. And then he saw her, the alien queen. She stood at the palace entrance, taller than any alien he had ever imagined. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her eyes, oh, her eyes were enormous, deep pools that seemed to look straight into his soul. Her limbs moved gracefully, yet every step she took radiated power. Evan froze. The queen did something he could not have expected. She bowed. It was not a nod, not a gesture of politeness. She bent low, her head almost touching the ground, in a display of respect. Evan staggered back. What? Why? He whispered aloud. His voice sounded small in the immense palace garden. The queen's eyes locked on him. Slowly, she straightened up and lifted her hands in a gesture that seemed to invite him closer. Evan hesitated. Every instinct told him to run, but something about the queen's presence was commanding, not threatening, but overwhelming. He stepped forward cautiously. I don't know why you're bowing, he said. His words sounded strange even to his own ears. I'm just human. I'm not anyone special. The queen's gaze softened. Then, in a voice that resonated directly in his mind, she spoke. Not through sound, but telepathy. Traveler, you have come. It is time. Evan's knees nearly buckled. Telepathy. He had read about it, but hearing it firsthand was surreal. Traveler? I don't understand, he replied aloud, though he wasn't sure she could hear him the way humans do. The queen moved closer, her presence filling the valley. Around her, the crystalline structures pulsed faintly, as if responding to her. Evan realized with a start that the palace itself was alive, connected to her in some way. You are the one from the legends, she said, her voice in his mind echoing with both awe and relief. The one who will guide us through the coming darkness. Evan shook his head. Legends? Darkness? I don't know anything about this. I'm just an explorer. I came to study your planet. The Queen tilted her head, studying him as if weighing his honesty. The world knows, she said simply. Even before your arrival, your essence was felt. You are expected. Evan swallowed hard. His mind raced. He had been trained for dangerous missions, alien encounters, and unknown worlds, but nothing like this. Nothing had prepared him for a species bowing to him, calling him a traveler in their legends. A sound behind him caught his attention. Turning, he saw movement at the palace gates. More aliens, this time not hostile. They looked at him with reverence, not fear, not anger, respect. It was almost as if every being here recognized him in a way he couldn't understand. Why me? Evan asked the Queen again. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she reached out, her hand hovering near his shoulder, not touching, but close enough to feel warmth. You possess what we need: courage, curiosity, and the spark of creation. These are rare in the galaxy, even among humans, but you carry them in abundance. Evan blinked. The spark of creation? I'm not special. I'm just a human. The Queen's eyes glimmered. Humans have walked among the stars before. Your kind leaves marks, unseen yet lasting. You are a part of a chain, older than you realize. That is why I bow. Before Evan could respond, the ground trembled slightly. A warning pulse ran through the valley. The Queen stiffened. Something approaches. Danger. Beyond this world. Evan looked around. Panic rising. What kind of danger? Her gaze met his again. The hunters. They come from beyond the stars. They will not stop, and only you, only humans, can help us survive. Evan's mind whirled. Galactic hunters? Humans as the key to alien survival? This was far beyond anything he had imagined. His training told him to stay calm, but adrenaline coursed through his veins. The Queen moved gracefully to a large crystal platform at the center of the garden. It pulsed with energy, and Evan realized it was some kind of transportation device. Come, she said, her telepathic voice gentle but commanding. Time is short. We must prepare. Evan hesitated for a moment, then nodded. There was no time to argue, and his instincts told him she was right. He followed her onto the platform. The crystal surface rippled under his feet, like walking on liquid light. As they rose into the air, Evan could see the alien city spread out below, him towers and spires glimmering, streams of energy flowing like rivers. It was breathtaking. He had explored many worlds, but none like this. The Queen turned to him once more, her expression inscrutable. Traveler, your journey begins now. What you do next will shape not only this world, but countless others, across the galaxy. Evan swallowed hard, gripping the edges of the platform. I'll try. I'll do my best. You will, she replied. Because you are human. For the first time, Evan understood. He wasn't just a visitor here. Somehow humans were more than explorers, more than settlers. They were important, revered even. And though he didn't know why, he realized that the galaxy had just opened its doors to him in a way no one had ever imagined. As the platform lifted higher into the sky, Evan looked down at the valley one last time. The alien scouts he had encountered earlier were gone, but the weight of what had happened pressed on him. Somewhere deep in the history of this planet, humans had left a mark. And now, for reasons he couldn't yet comprehend, they were counting on him to fulfill it. The Queen's presence beside him was steady, calm, and commanding. Evan took a deep breath. He didn't know what lay ahead, but one thing was certain. His life, and perhaps all human life, would never be the same again. The crystal platform descended slowly into the heart of the palace. Evan's legs were stiff from the ride, and his mind still reeled from the Queen's words. Only humans can help us survive. The phrase echoed in his head like a riddle he could not solve. How could an ordinary human, him, be the key to saving an entire alien civilization? As he stepped onto the palace floor, the first thing he noticed was the light. It wasn't just bright or dim. It shimmered, bending in strange ways as if it had a mind of its own. The walls pulsed softly, almost like breathing. Evan realized he was not just inside a building, he was inside a living entity. Every crystal, every curve of the palace seemed connected, responding to the presence of the Queen and now, strangely, to him. "Welcome," the Queen's voice echoed in his mind. It was gentle, but it carried authority that made Evan instinctively obey. "You will stay here while I show you what you must understand. There is no time to waste." Evan followed her through halls that twisted in impossible ways. Staircases spiraled into the air, leading nowhere he could see, and corridors curved around themselves. Holographic projections of alien history floated in the air, shimmering like liquid. Creatures and events he could barely comprehend played out in ghostly images. "You are overwhelmed," the Queen said, sensing his thoughts. "But what you feel now is only the beginning. We have waited millennia for your arrival." Evan's heart skipped. "Waited for me? I don't understand. I'm just a human. Why me?" The Queen stopped in a large chamber filled with intricate murals. Each depicted humans, like him, standing among alien beings, guiding them, protecting them, and teaching them. Some murals showed humans in ancient garb. Others showed humans in strange metallic suits like the ones he wore. "Now these are humans?" Evan asked, astonished. "This isn't possible. We never visited your planet before, at least not officially. I mean, not in recorded history." "They came before," the Queen said. Her voice carried a mix of pride and sorrow. "Humans came to this world long ago. You carry the same essence as those who walked here in ancient times. It is in your nature. It is why you are recognized immediately." Evan stepped closer, studying the images. One showed a human standing atop a crystal spire, holding a staff of light. Around him, alien beings bowed, offering gifts and knowledge. The human's eyes glowed faintly, a feature he shared unconsciously. Evan touched his own eyes in disbelief. He hadn't noticed anything unusual before. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "Are you saying humans left a mark on your species?" The Queen nodded slowly. "Your kind left impressions, not only on our culture but on our very being. Long ago your ancestors visited our planet and shared knowledge. They left behind legacies woven into our DNA. We awaited the return of one who carries that spark. One like you." Evan's mind spun. He had always thought humans were insignificant in the vast universe, explorers and colonizers at best. Yet here he was, regarded as legendary by an entire civilization. "Traveler," the Queen continued, her voice now serious, "your arrival comes at a time of great danger. The predators are coming. They are not like anything you have encountered. They hunt entire worlds. They are relentless, intelligent, and cruel, and we cannot stop them alone." Evan felt a chill. "Predators? You mean like a fleet? Ships? War?" "Yes," she said. "Ships, warriors, machines of destruction. Their minds are vast, their strategy perfect. We have defended ourselves for centuries, but alone, we cannot survive." He looked around the chamber. The aliens in the murals were not ordinary. They seemed to anticipate human moves, reacting with understanding and efficiency. "Then, what do you expect me to do?" he asked. "Guide us," she said simply. "Your mind is different. Your creativity, your ability to improvise, and your courage. These are strengths that no alien possesses in the way humans do. We have evolved for millennia, but we cannot match your ingenuity. You are our hope." Evan swallowed hard. He had faced danger before, combat simulations, hostile planets, rogue AI, but never like this. Now an entire civilization's survival rested, at least in part, on him. The Queen led him further into the palace to a room filled with technology that defied explanation. Screens floated in the air, displaying galaxies, star systems, and unknown signals. Alien engineers, tall, thin beings with crystalline limbs, worked at devices that hummed with energy, changing shape as they moved. Observe, the Queen instructed. These are our defenses, our attempts to repel the predators. We have studied the stars, our enemies, and prepared. Yet our plans always fail. We need a mind unbound by our traditions. We need your mind, human. Evan walked among the machines, amazed. He reached out and instinctively touched one of the consoles. It responded immediately, lights pulsing in response to his touch. It was as if the device recognized him, not just as a user, but as something more. The Queen's eyes glimmered. Even our technology senses you. You are part of our destiny, whether you understand it or not. Evan turned to her, overwhelmed. This is too much. I don't know if I can. You can, she interrupted, her voice firm yet reassuring. Humans are different. You think, you feel, and you adapt. You are capable of choices that we cannot imagine. That is why you are here. That is why I bowed. That is why you are recognized instantly. You are the key. Evan sank onto a crystalline bench, running his hands through his hair. He had always prided himself on being practical, on relying on science and reason. But here on Lyrian 7, everything he knew was stretched beyond imagination. You must understand, the Queen continued. Our legends spoke of your arrival. Your ancestors' visits were recorded in our oldest memories, stored not in books, but in our being. You carry the same essence, the same potential. This is why we bow, this is why we wait. Evan stared at her. He wanted to protest, to say he was just a man, but the truth in her eyes silenced him. There was no deceit, no exaggeration, only certainty, reverence, and a hint of desperation. Traveler, she said, her gaze softening, there is one more thing you must see. She extended her hand, and a holographic projection appeared before them. It showed a massive fleet of dark ships, moving through space with terrifying precision. Each ship was covered in spines and jagged edges, radiating power. These are the predators, she said. They have destroyed worlds. Entire civilizations have fallen before them. We are next, and without your guidance we will not survive. Evan's stomach churned. How can I help? You will teach, guide, and lead, the Queen replied. Your human ways, your creativity, your courage, your unpredictable nature will give us an advantage. We cannot fight them as we fight each other. We must think as you think, act as you act, and adapt as you adapt. Only then will we have a chance. Evan's mind raced. He had never imagined humans were anything more than explorers, scientists, and settlers. Yet here, his species was seen as legendary, almost mythical. He realized that the Queen's bow was not mere courtesy. It was recognition of potential that humans naturally possessed. I will try, he said finally, his voice firm. But you must help me understand your technology, your people, and your culture. Otherwise, I won't be able to guide anyone. The Queen nodded. You will learn, and in time, you will see why humans are exceptional. For now, rest. Soon the predators will arrive, and when they do, you must be ready. Evan sank back into the crystalline bench, staring at the holographic fleet. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him, heavier than anything he had ever faced. But beneath the fear, something else stirred, an excitement, a sense of purpose. For the first time in his life, he felt part of something greater than himself, something that could change the fate of an entire civilization. As the alien engineers continued their work around him, Evan realized one undeniable truth. Humans were extraordinary. Not because of strength, not because of weapons, but because of ingenuity, courage, and the spark of creation that lay within them. And somehow, the Queen and her people had known this all along. He took a deep breath and whispered, to himself almost as if testing the words in reality, I'm just a human, but maybe that's enough. Above him, the Queen watched, serene and commanding, knowing that this human, unprepared, bewildered, yet courageous, would be the key to survival. And somewhere deep within the city, the murals pulsed faintly, acknowledging the return of one who had been long awaited. Evan didn't yet understand the full weight of the prophecy, the legends, or the coming battle. But he knew one thing for certain. His journey on Lyrian 7 had only just begun. The next morning, Evan woke to the soft hum of the palace. Light streamed through the crystalline walls, casting rainbows across the floor. The palace was alive, moving subtly with the rhythms of its occupants and perhaps with the queen herself. He stretched and rubbed his eyes, still trying to process the truth of what had been revealed. Humans had visited this planet long ago. His species was legendary here, and now they were facing a threat beyond imagination. The queen appeared in the room, floating almost effortlessly above the floor. Her eyes, deep and unblinking, fixed on Evan. "The predators are close," she said. "We must act. You will begin by learning our defenses and teaching us how to use them in ways we cannot imagine." Evan swallowed. I don't even know where to start. Your technology, it's like nothing I've seen. How can I possibly—" "You will adapt," she interrupted. "That is what humans do best." He followed her to a vast chamber, overlooking the city. Hundreds of engineers and soldiers moved through the space, operating devices that hovered, shifted, and changed shape in response to thought. Ships and weapons designs glimmered in mid-air, some of them larger than the tallest towers of any human city. Evan's first impression was chaos. Machines hummed, lights flickered, and the alien soldiers practiced maneuvers that seemed perfectly synchronized yet wrong. There was no imagination. Every move was precise, but predictable. The queen's voice cut through the noise in his mind. "They follow tradition. They act as they always have. You must teach them to act differently, to anticipate, to improvise. This is how humans succeed." Evan stepped forward, examining a control panel. His fingers brushed the surface, and the device responded as if alive. Lights danced along the circuits, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. A thought struck him. Maybe these machines could sense intent, and humans, because of their creativity, could think in ways aliens could not predict. He addressed the engineers. "Listen, you've been training for centuries, following routines. That's good but predictable. The predators won't react the way you expect. You need to change your patterns, mix things up, do something they won't anticipate." The aliens paused, turning to him with blank expressions. They were intelligent, but their minds were not used to improvisation. They had logic and strategy, but not creativity in the human sense. Evan took a deep breath and drew a simple diagram in the air with his fingers, the light following his movements. "Imagine this," he said. "If they expect you to attack from the left, you attack from the right. If they anticipate your ship's path, change it mid-flight. Be unpredictable. Adapt." Slowly, the engineers began to nod, their crystalline eyes reflecting new understanding. Evan felt a thrill of hope. He was doing it, teaching them to think differently. Hours passed. The queen observed silently as Evan demonstrated human tactics, blending intuition with technology. He showed them simple things: how to combine shields with mobile platforms, how to use energy pulses to confuse sensors, how to create decoys that would mislead enemy fleets. The aliens were fast learners, but their natural hesitation lingered. They trusted the patterns of their past too much. "Courage, not calculation," Evan explained. "You can plan, but you must also act with confidence. Doubt will kill you, faster than any predator." By the end of the day, the aliens had begun to move differently. Ships maneuvered with sudden twists, weapons fired in unpredictable sequences, and soldiers executed unconventional strategies. Evan felt a surge of pride. Humans truly were different, and the queen had been right. That night, Evan stood on a balcony overlooking the alien city. The towers glowed with an inner light, streams of energy running like rivers through the streets. For a moment, he felt a strange sense of belonging. He was a human, yes, but here, he was also something more. A guide, a teacher, a symbol of hope. The tranquility didn't last. A sudden tremor ran through the ground, followed by an urgent alarm. The Queen appeared beside him instantly. "They are here," she said. "The Predator fleet approaches faster than expected. You must act now." Evan's heart pounded. He had prepared the aliens, taught them new tactics, but this was the real test. There would be no practice runs. Either they survived, or they didn't. The platform outside the palace lifted into the sky, carrying Evan and the Queen above the city. From this vantage point, he could see the Predators approaching. Ships larger than mountains blotted out the sky, moving with terrifying precision. Their black hulls glistened like obsidian, lined with spines and weapons that pulsed with energy. The alien fleet, still fewer in number, awaited his commands. "Listen to me," Evan called out, projecting his voice through a communicator. "Do not follow patterns. Attack where they do not expect. Use decoys. Move unpredictably. Trust your instincts." The Queen watched him closely, her expression unreadable. Evan felt the weight of the moment settle on him. Humans were small in numbers, but perhaps the spark within them, creativity, courage, unpredictability, could tip the balance. The battle began. Energy beams streaked across the sky as ships clashed. Explosions rocked the atmosphere. Evan directed, alien pilots giving them commands that seemed illogical at first, but which soon disrupted the Predator fleet. Ships that were supposed to attack in formation turned suddenly, creating gaps in their lines. Energy shields flickered in unconventional patterns, confusing enemy sensors. Evan realized something incredible. Humans did not just react to situations, they adapted in real time. And these aliens, with his guidance, were learning to do the same. From the city below, soldiers moved with new confidence, executing strategies Evan had demonstrated. They were no longer predictable. They were alive with human-inspired innovation. The Queen moved among the defenders, her presence calming and commanding. She protected critical points, but she kept returning to Evan, as if recognizing him as the true key to the battle. Evan felt a strange connection to her, a mutual respect, a shared purpose. Hours passed and the tide of the battle shifted. Predator ships that seemed invincible faltered. Their attacks, precise and relentless, were countered by human ingenuity. Evan's mind raced, constantly analyzing, improvising, and predicting. At one point, a massive Predator vessel broke through, the alien defenses heading straight for the city's core. Evan spotted it instantly. "Deploy the decoy arrays now," he shouted. Alien engineers moved at his command, launching shimmering holographic ships that mimicked the alien capital's defenses. The Predator was drawn away, firing at illusions while the real city remained untouched. Evan's pulse raced, but a smile crept across his face. Humans, him in particular, were making the difference. The aliens were fighting not just with strength, but with a mind that the Predators could not anticipate. The Queen approached him mid-battle. "You are extraordinary," she said in his mind. "Even your own species does not fully understand what you can do." Evan shook his head, panting. "I'm just doing what humans do. Think, adapt, survive, that's all." "But that is enough," she replied. "For us it is more than enough." As the Predator fleet faltered and retreated, Evan watched the survivors flee into the distance. The alien forces cheered, their voices echoing across the city. They looked at him with awe, respect, and gratitude. He had led them, taught them, and helped them survive. Evan felt a mixture of relief and disbelief. He was human. He had never considered himself a hero. But here on Lyrian 7 he had changed the course of history. The aliens' legends were true. Humans were special, not because of size, strength, or weapons, but because of their courage, creativity, and ability to adapt. The Queen descended to stand beside him once more. "You have done well, traveler," she said. "The Predators will return. They always return, but now we are prepared because of you." Evan nodded, exhaustion weighing on him. I still don't understand why you bowed to me the first time we met. I barely knew you, barely understood any of this. The Queen's eyes softened. I bowed because you are human, because humans carry something rare, something that can change worlds. You do not yet see it, but your presence alone inspires hope, courage, and innovation. That is why we bow. Evan stared at her, speechless. He had spent his life thinking humans were ordinary, limited to their own world. Yet here, he realized that ordinary humans, acting with courage and intelligence, could become legends. As night fell over the alien city, Evan stood on a balcony overlooking the battlefield. The streets were quiet now, lights flickering as the aliens repaired damage. Ships floated above, ready for the next encounter. And for the first time, Evan felt truly connected, not just to this world, but to the potential of humanity itself. He whispered to himself, a mix of awe and determination. Humans, we really are something else. Somewhere deep within the palace, the Queen watched him, serene and knowing. She understood that this human, the bewildered, ordinary man, was extraordinary in ways the galaxy had yet to see. And together, they would face whatever dangers the stars would send next. Evan did not yet know what lay ahead, but one thing was certain. Humans, even small and alone, could change the course of history. And Lyrian 7 would be the first world to witness it. The morning sky over Lyrian 7 glowed with the faint shimmer of the alien sun. From above, the city looked peaceful, but Evan knew that peace was fragile. Scouts had reported signs of the Predator fleet regrouping in nearby star systems. Their retreat had been temporary, a pause to strike harder, faster, and with more cunning. Evan stepped onto the balcony of the palace, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on him again. The Queen was beside him, her silver form radiant in the morning light. "They will return," she said quietly, her voice resonating in his mind. "Stronger than before. We must be ready." Evan nodded. "I know, but we've learned a lot from the last encounter. Their patterns, their strategies, and now your soldiers are thinking differently because of me. We have a chance." The Queen regarded him with quiet intensity. "Not just a chance, traveler, a hope. Your kind, humans, carry the spark that can turn even impossible odds into victory." For a moment, Evan felt the weight of pride and fear simultaneously. He had saved them once, but now the real test approached. The Predator fleet would not simply retreat again. They would strike with full force, and this time, the stakes were higher. The palace's command chamber was alive with activity. Engineers and soldiers moved through the space with new confidence, implementing the unconventional strategies Evan had taught them. Holographic projections of the battlefield floated in the air, showing the Predator fleet approaching from multiple vectors. Evan studied the display, analyzing every ship, every weapon system, and every possible maneuver. He turned to the Queen. "We need to split their focus. If we concentrate here, they'll exploit another point. If we spread them thin, we can control the battle." The Queen nodded. "Your mind sees paths we could not. That is why you are needed." Evan took a deep breath. "Then let's get to work." The next hours were a blur of preparation. Evan oversaw the deployment of decoys, the calibration of energy shields, and the coordination of rapid response squads. Alien pilots moved with unprecedented agility, performing maneuvers inspired by human improvisation. Soldiers carried out defensive formations that changed at a moment's notice, confusing the approaching predators. Evan marveled at their speed of adaptation. They had learned to act unpredictably, just as he had hoped. Humans thrived in uncertainty, and now the aliens were learning to harness it too. As the first Predator scouts appeared in orbit, Evan's pulse quickened. "Deploy the interceptors," he commanded. "But remember, do not follow a pattern. Change your approach every second. Force them to react to us, not the other way around." The alien ships surged into space, moving like liquid through the void. Predator craft fired energy beams that streaked across the sky, but the aliens twisted and dodged in ways their enemy could not anticipate. Evan coordinated the attacks, calling out adjustments based on subtle changes in the predator movements. Move. Left, no, now shift down, use the decoy fleet ahead. His voice carried through the command network, guiding the defenders in real time. The first wave of predators was disrupted, but the next came faster, larger, and more aggressive. One massive predator ship, larger than any Evan had seen, bore down on the city's central power hub, its weapons charged with lethal energy. Evan acted instantly. Launch the holographic decoys, draw it away from the city. Streams of glowing fake ships erupted into space, mimicking the city's defenses. The predator was fooled, firing at illusions while the real city remained untouched. Energy shields pulsed in response to Evan's commands, deflecting stray beams that threatened the towers below. Good. The Queen's voice echoed in his mind. You think like no one else. That is why humans are needed. Evan's heart raced. The predator fleet was relentless, but the aliens were fighting differently now. Adaptive, unpredictable, alive with human-inspired strategies. Ships darted in sudden, unpredictable patterns. Soldiers responded without hesitation. Energy pulses disrupted enemy sensors. Every move was calculated yet flexible. Hours passed, and the battle escalated. Explosions ripped through the skies, and debris rained down on the surface. Yet Evan's strategies held. The predator fleet faltered, unable to adjust to the constant unpredictability of the alien-human tactics. At one point, a squadron of predator ships attempted a direct assault on the Queen's palace. Evan spotted it immediately. Divert the energy shields to the east sector. Deploy countermeasures to the west. The aliens moved in perfect synchrony following Evan's commands. Predator missiles were deflected, ships were intercepted, and the palace remained intact. Evan realized with awe that humans' creativity had given these aliens an edge they had never possessed before. Amid the chaos, the Queen descended to the battlefield in her own vessel, protecting critical points. She moved gracefully, her presence inspiring the soldiers around her. Yet she kept returning to Evan's side, as if acknowledging him as the true key to their survival. Evan felt a strange mix of fear and determination. Humans had faced danger before, but never on this scale. Here, the survival of an entire civilization depended on his decisions, and yet he was not alone. The aliens, trained in their way but now thinking like humans, stood beside him. The predator fleet began to retreat in some areas, but concentrated their attack on one massive formation. Evan realized they were attempting a flanking maneuver. He acted quickly. Split the defense into 3 sectors, use rapid feints to confuse them, force them to divide their forces. The aliens executed the plan with precision. Ships moved unpredictably, decoys created false targets, and energy shields shifted dynamically. The predators, unprepared for such adaptability, began to suffer heavy losses. Evan's pulse raced as he coordinated every move. His human intuition, creativity, and courage were driving the battle. For the first time, he felt truly capable, truly needed. Finally, the predators faltered. Their formations broke, and many ships retreated into the void. The aliens cheered, their voices echoing across the city. They looked at Evan with awe, respect, and gratitude. He had not only led them, but transformed their way of thinking. The Queen approached him once more, her silver form radiant even amidst the chaos. "You have done what no one else could," she said. "You have turned the tide. Your presence, your mind, your courage. It has saved us." Evan shook his head, exhausted. "I just thought like a human, that's all." Humans adapt, humans improvise, that's why it worked. The Queen smiled, though it was subtle. "And that is why we bow to you. Not because of strength, not because of weapons, but because of what humans carry within themselves. The spark of creation, courage, and adaptability. That is why you are extraordinary." Evan took a deep breath, letting the weight of her words sink in. Humans, his species, had always thought of themselves as ordinary. But here on Lyrian 7, he realized the truth. Humans were special, not because of might, but because of ingenuity and courage. As the sun set over the alien city, Evan stood on a balcony overlooking the battlefield. The streets were damaged, but the city stood. Ships floated above, ready for the next encounter. And for the first time, Evan felt a deep sense of connection, not just to this world, but to the potential of humanity itself. He whispered to himself, almost in awe, "Humans, we really are something else." The Queen watched him from behind, serene and knowing. She understood that this human, the bewildered ordinary man, was extraordinary in ways the galaxy had yet to see. And together, they would face whatever dangers the stars would send next. Evan didn't yet know what lay ahead. The Predator fleet could return, stronger than ever. But he understood one undeniable truth. Humans, even small and alone, could change the course of history. The air in the palace was thick with tension. Though the Predator fleet had retreated, their presence still lingered like a shadow over Lyrian 7. Scouts reported that the enemies were regrouping, preparing a full assault. The city's defenses had held, but Evan knew this was only a matter of time before the Predators returned. The Queen approached him in the command chamber, her silver form glowing faintly. "Traveler," she said, her voice calm yet urgent in his mind. "It is time. You understand why I bowed to you the first moment we met." Evan blinked. I thought it was respect for humans in general, or maybe because of the legends, but there must be more, right?" The Queen's eyes glimmered. "Much more. You are not just human. You are the one who carries the essence of those who first visited our planet long ago. They brought knowledge, creativity, and courage, but they also left something deeper. A spark embedded in your DNA." Evan's heart skipped. "A spark? You mean like a genetic thing?" "Yes," the Queen replied, "but not ordinary DNA. It is a connection to creation itself, to ingenuity and the ability to inspire life and survival. Humans, your kind, were always destined to walk among the stars, shaping, guiding, and defending life. That spark is why I recognized you instantly. That spark is why I bowed." Evan felt a chill run down his spine. "You mean I was chosen?" "Not chosen in the usual sense," she said. "You were recognized. The galaxy recognizes humans because of what they carry inside, and now, that recognition is needed more than ever." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the palace. The Predator fleet had returned, faster and more massive than before. Thousands of dark ships swept across the sky, surrounding the city with terrifying precision. Their black hulls reflected the alien sunlight, making them appear as a storm of living shadows. Evan's pulse raced. This was it, the moment of truth. He moved quickly to the command panel, analyzing the enemy positions. They've split into 3 main squadrons. One will attack the city directly, one will go for the power hub, and the third is heading for the palace. We have to act fast. The Queen appeared beside him, her presence steady. "We will survive, traveler. You have taught us to adapt. Now lead us to victory." Evan took a deep breath. "All right, let's do this." The battle began with a deafening roar. Predator ships fired energy beams tearing across the sky, while alien defenses activated with renewed vigor. Evan's voice echoed across the communication network. "Split into squads. Attack where they don't expect. Use the decoys and the new shield configurations." The aliens moved in ways they had never moved before, unpredictable and clever. Energy shields flickered in shifting patterns, confusing enemy sensors. Decoy ships darted across space, drawing Predator fire. The Predators faltered, uncertain, unable to anticipate the strategies the humans had taught. Evan's mind worked frantically. He coordinated attacks, repositioned squads, and calculated every move the Predators might make. His human intuition, combined with alien technology, became a force the enemy could not predict. A massive Predator ship broke through defenses, heading straight for the palace. Evan's heart raced. Divert all energy shields to the palace. Activate decoy flares and interceptors. Ships responded instantly, moving like living organisms under Evan's command. The Predator fired its main weapon, but the shield absorbed the blast, redirecting energy harmlessly into the atmosphere. Interceptors rammed the enemy vessel, forcing it off course. The palace remained intact. Impressive, the Queen's voice resonated in his mind. Even your ancestors could not have acted so decisively. Evan shook his head, sweat running down his face. It's not just me, it's humans. We just think differently. We adapt. We improvise. That's our strength. The Predators regrouped for another strike, more desperate than before. Evan noticed a pattern. They were learning too, adjusting based on the last wave. He gritted his teeth. Then we have to be faster, smarter, unpredictable. He devised a bold plan. Listen carefully. Half the fleet will create a false assault on the northern gates. The other half will take vertical dives, then pivot to the enemy's blind spots. Use the energy pulses to blind their sensors temporarily. And, when they regroup, launch the decoy satellites directly at their command ships. The aliens executed the plan flawlessly, moving with precision and courage inspired by Evan's human insight. Predator ships collided, fired on illusions, and became disoriented. The alien forces, once bound by tradition and predictability, now flowed like a river, ever-changing, unstoppable. From above, the Queen watched, radiant and commanding. She moved through the battlefield herself, disrupting Predator attacks and coordinating critical defenses. Yet she always returned to Evan's side, a silent acknowledgement that he was the true force behind their success. Hours passed. Explosions rocked the skies, but Evan's strategies held. Slowly, the Predator fleet began to crumble. Ships fled in disarray, retreating into the void. Alien forces pressed the advantage, forcing their enemy further away from the planet. Evan's body ached, his mind raced, but a surge of pride rose within him. Humans, small and seemingly ordinary, had changed the outcome of this battle. His species' creativity, courage, and adaptability had saved an entire civilization. Finally, the skies cleared. The Predator fleet was gone, shattered and broken. Alien citizens poured into the streets, cheering, celebrating their survival. Ships floated above, glowing in victory. The Queen descended, her form shimmering like liquid silver. She approached Evan and knelt before him, not in submission but in reverence. "Traveler," she said softly, her voice filled with emotion. "You have done what no one else could. You have fulfilled the legacy of your ancestors. You have saved Lyrian 7. Evan blinked, stunned. I just did what humans do. Think, adapt, survive. That's all?" "No," she said, rising to her full height. "It is more than that. Humans carry something extraordinary. Courage, imagination, resilience, and the spark of creation itself. That is why I bowed to you the first moment we met. That is why we waited for your arrival." Evan's heart pounded. So, it wasn't just respect, it was recognition? "Yes," she confirmed. "Recognition of what humans can do. Recognition of the potential that resides in every one of your kind. And now the galaxy knows. Humans are not merely survivors or explorers. They are catalysts of change, bearers of hope." Evan looked around at the alien city, glowing in the eye, aftermath of battle. His mind swirled with awe and humility. He had never considered himself special. Yet here his presence had inspired courage, innovation, and victory. For the first time he understood why humans were revered across the stars, why the Queen had bowed, why legends spoke of humans as bringers of change. It was not strength alone that mattered, but the ability to think, to adapt, and to act with courage against impossible odds. The Queen placed her hand lightly on his shoulder. "Traveler, you have proven that humans can shape destiny. But know this, the galaxy is vast, and many dangers still await. You are not alone. Your people are needed wherever hope must survive." Evan took a deep breath, feeling a new sense of purpose. I understand now. Humans, we may be small, but we're capable of incredible things. And if that's what the galaxy needs, I'll do it. The Queen nodded, her eyes shimmering with pride. Then go forward, traveler. The galaxy will bow to your kind, not in fear, but in recognition of what you bring: hope, courage, and the spark of creation. As night fell over Lyrian 7, Evan stood once more on a balcony overlooking the city. The alien citizens cheered in the streets below, celebrating not only their survival but the extraordinary human who had saved them. He realized that humans, though young in the cosmic timeline, were capable of greatness beyond imagination. Somewhere, deep in the stars, the Predator fleet regrouped, waiting for another chance. But Evan knew this. Humans were different. Small, ordinary, yet extraordinary in ways the galaxy had only just begun to understand. And with courage, creativity, and determination, they could face anything. He whispered to himself, a smile breaking across his face. Humans. We really are something else. The Queen watched silently from behind, serene and knowing. She understood that this human, the bewildered man who had arrived unexpectedly, was extraordinary in ways the galaxy had yet to see. And together, humans and aliens would shape the future of countless worlds. Evan didn't know what awaited him next, but one thing was certain: humanity had left its mark on Lyrian 7, and now, the galaxy would never forget the human who inspired hope in a universe of darkness.